Let's talk today a little bit about anxiety. So, anxiety is kind of a hot topic, right? Something that we are hearing about a lot. A lot of people are experiencing in kind of excessive numbers, right? And I know I'm one of them. You might be one of them too. Okay, so first let's talk a little bit about what is anxiety in relation to stress, right? Because oftentimes I think people use those terms interchangeably. Oh, I'm feeling really stressed or I'm feeling really anxious. Well, stress essentially is that physiological response. So that's the feeling of what's happening and the actual events that are happening in your body, like your breathing rate might increase, your heart rate might increase, your blood pressure, things like that. The body is essentially getting ready for danger. So that's what the stress response really is. Anxiety has more to do with the thoughts and the fears. So typically when we feel very anxious, we're worried about or fixating on something that maybe hasn't even happened yet. So what happens is our bodies are very intelligent and they believe whatever our brain tells it, whatever our mind tells it. So if you start ruminating or thinking over and over about something that you're worried about, maybe it's something that's coming up in your life or what's going to happen in the future or all the number of things that could arise, right? The list can be endless. That will actually send your body into a stress response, into a stressed state. And that eventually leads to all kinds of things, right? Like hypertension, maybe even panic attacks, tightness in the muscles, tightness in the chest, all kinds of things like that over time if it happens over and over again. Some ways that anxiety can show up in your life, because some people that I talk to don't even realize how anxious they really are. So if you find yourself not doing things that you enjoy or make you happy as much because you feel like there's so many other things that have to get done, or you're worried about a specific outcome or something like that, then you might be dealing with some anxiety. If you find yourself really preoccupied with things in the future, worrying about how things are going to turn out, over preparing, right? Things like that. So don't wait for anxiety to just get better on its own. I think sometimes we get stuck in that cycle of like, oh, it'll be better when, or that'll go away when, right? I want you to know that there are things that you can do and start doing right now. And I'm going to get you an exercise in a moment about this to help with those feelings of anxiety and to help calm your nervous system down when you do start to feel that stress creep up, okay? And I always recommend too that when you do this, try to pick something and do something that you can do on a regular basis, even if it's just a breathing exercise for a couple of minutes. And I also always recommend doing it at a time when you're not in like the most anxious state. So you don't want to wait till you're in the middle of a panic attack to try one of these for the very first time. Think of it as like strength training in the gym, right? You're building a muscle. You're building the ability to focus your attention on the present moment, to be mindful, and to relax your nervous system and kind of notice when the mind starts to jump around and kind of ground it a little bit in the body. So, anxiety obviously can get very serious, right? And there are so many resources that are available. So, always make sure you reach out to the counseling center or PCC if you need any support, okay? So, there are many, many options and many different tools available. So, let's get to the exercise that I want to do with you today. And it's so, so simple. And it uses my favorite tool, which is the breath. And I love this because it's always accessible, right? We're always breathing. We always have our lungs with us, so we can always do it. And it's very, very easy for people who maybe feel like they might have a hard time trying something like meditation. So a breathing exercise is very different than meditation. So we're doing something today called square breathing. So what square breathing is it takes the inhale, and we inhale for a certain count. Then we hold that breath for the same amount of time. Then we exhale for the same amount of time. And then we hold that breath out for the same amount of time. So we're making a square with the breath. We're going to do it together right now, okay? So go ahead, and if you want, you can close your eyes or you can stay looking at me. That's totally fine. Go ahead and inhale for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold it for 4, 3, 2, 1. Now exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold that breath out. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. And come back to a normal breath. So you can repeat that as often as you need to. You can shorten it, you can lengthen it, you can make it however you need to do, but it is a really wonderful practice. And the best part is because you're focusing on the count, you're focusing on holding or inhaling or exhaling, it grounds you in the moment so you're not focused and fixated on something that's maybe stressing you out. All right, I hope that you enjoyed that practice. And remember, anxiety and stress are totally normal. They're a normal part of life and living, but you don't want to let them control your life, right? And starting some kind of practice to help in these situations is absolutely essential in a long-term wellness plan. All right, that's all for today. Take care and be well.